Hi, and welcome to the Complaining Cow Consumer Show on East London Radio with me, Helen, the Complaining Cow. Now, today I have with me Lucy Jeffrey, who is the founder of Bearkind. Now, Bearkind is a bamboo sock company that donates 10% of the profit to the animal on the sock. So let's find out a little bit more about it. Let's speak to Lucy. Lucy, welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, hi, Helen. Thanks for having me.
Now, we're going to go on to a little bit about how you got a really great opportunity to be on Oxford Street. But before we get on to that, tell me a little bit about what it is your company does.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So as you said, we're Bearkind and we sell bamboo socks. 10% of the profits donated to save the animal on the sock. So how that works is we're connected with loads of awesome animal conservation charities around the world. So we've got about 25 different charity partners now. About 13 of them are in the UK, and then the rest are kind of dotted around the world, saving animals in different shapes and forms. And yeah, so we design the sock. We design these like beautiful animals on socks in various different like colors. And then yes, we donate profits to those charities. So we get to support the awesome work that they're doing on the ground. And yeah, the company's just turned 5 years old last month, actually, which is pretty crazy. But yeah, I started the company 5 years ago. I was working for a bank at the time, but during COVID, I actually quit my job. So this is now my full-time job, and it's, it still pinch me that I get to be able to say that.
And do you run it on your own, or how big is the business?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, I started running it on my own. When I left my job in 2020, it was me for a few months, and then I hired a couple of young women to join me, and they helped me with kind of marketing, photography, all bits and pieces. And they're still with me to this day. So there's the three of us, and actually recently my partner has also quit his job at the same bank to join me. So now the two of us are running it together as a bit of a, I guess, family venture now.
So how does that work? Does it go well working
Yeah.
with your partner?
We spend a lot of time together. Yeah, I think it works very well. You have to keep the communication up because as with anything, you're working very, very closely with someone, and we live together, we go on holiday together. But luckily, we have very, very complementary strengths. So his background is finance, numbers, spreadsheets, like all of that stuff, the strategy, like he's very, very strong on that, whereas I'm less so, and I'm kind of focusing on sustainability, the product, the press, some marketing bits. So there's some stuff that we join up together, but actually other stuff that we just kind of work on our strengths and then come back together. So it has so far worked pretty well. Yeah, sometimes we lock horns, but I think that's with any like kind of co-founder relationships that can happen.
So what would be your tips for people that work with family members?
I think you've got to keep talking about it. So we have, it sounds a bit strange saying it, but we have formal like one-to-ones, like where we'll get together and sit and we'll discuss how is it going? How is our working relationship? How can we improve it? You feel like you shouldn't have to do that because you're, partners in life or maybe your family members, but actually formalizing it, making, working on it like it's a work relationship as well, I think is really important. And that's where you kind of, hash out the bits that aren't working and, discuss how you make each other feel at work. It's it's a lot about sharing those feelings, and I swear by that, and I think it's really helped us grow as a couple, but also as colleagues, really, which is what we are for some of the days.
Do you find it hard, or do you try and make sure that you're not talking about work at certain times? If you go on holiday, we're not going to talk about work, or do you let those boundaries blur?
Oh, I think we're quite bad at letting the boundaries blur, to be honest. And this is an interesting one. We're both quite different in our like work mindset. Like I need stricter boundaries, whereas he can work more. I describe him as a workaholic, but I mean he can do it. He loves work, so he'll keep going and going, whereas I can't. I'll burn out. So that's actually something we're navigating at the moment, because it's a kind of a high stress for me that I feel like I should be working all the time, whereas he's like, I'm happy to work all the time, but you don't need to. So that's a very interesting boundary to work on, because I'm the founder, and then having someone coming in working more hours than me, I feel that like pressure, but that's that's honestly something I'm working through, like right at this minute, like trying to work through how I like mentally bring myself back from that. Is I'm sure something that a lot of people come across, but it's new for me.
But I don't know that anyone would say that they absolutely get it perfectly right.
Yeah.
But then that would be the same, I think, with anyone who you work with. People are going to fall out at some point with their business partner, whether they knew them before they went into business or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, for me, it's, we want to keep working on it because obviously we're partners in life as well, that, you know, we need to have that conversation and make sure it works for us there, because, you know, you don't want to lose a good relationship because you're not getting on at work. But thankfully we do get on really, really well at work. I think it's, you know, it's got legs, it's going to be a sustainable partnership. But it was like a very different thing to jump into, being partners and then getting into business together as well. But loads of people do it, and unfortunately sometimes it doesn't work for some people. But I think because we regularly work on it and discuss how it's going, I think we'll be okay.
so so tell me a little bit more now about the competition that you won, what you entered, and how it all came about.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm part of a business network called Enterprise Nation, and they deserve a shout out because they do a lot of good work. It's free to join, and they're just there to support business owners. And they do a lot of competitions and things regularly. So the most recent one I entered was win a chance to pop up on Oxford Street, busiest shopping street in Europe. So a huge opportunity. It was in partnership with Adobe Express. I'm assuming they were the ones like sponsoring the opportunity, and we actually won. So Jess, who works for me, the entry was to build like a web page on like the brand using Adobe Express, so using their tool. So she did a great job of producing this kind of web page with them, and they obviously liked it because they gave us 2 days alongside 9 other brands. So it was like a 2-week thing. So brands were kind of swapping in and out. And yeah, we were able to pop up on Oxford Street for 2 days and, you know, display our products and have, you know, just general public walking past and pop in and buy socks. And yeah, pretty incredible opportunity. I have no idea how much that retail space would be worth if we were to buy it. I'm sure a lot.
A lot of money.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, so it was a real awesome opportunity for us to be able to do that. Super exciting.
How many sales did you make?
Not a huge, to be honest. It was a bit of a weird time to pop up. Obviously, like great opportunity, but it was like a Monday and Tuesday just before payday. So like not prime shopping time. I think for us it was more of an opportunity to see how, like, we've never done anything like this before. Mm-hmm. So we got like a few decent sales, like, you know, it helped boost, you know, more than we'd get online in that day. And, you know, we met some of our like regular customers who came in to see us. But I think for us, it was more, we saw how it worked. We realized what we would do differently next time. And it's given us like kind of food for thought for if we were to do our own pop-up. We've now tested it and we know what we need to do. So for example, the shop outside, it was all kind of like Adobe marketing. So it wasn't actually super clear that it was a pop-up. So I think, you know, future opportunities, I'd consider like, how is the marketing for getting people into the pop-up? Footfall traffic was fairly quiet, but the people that did come in, our conversion rate was really high. Like a lot of people did buy socks when they actually came in. So I'm seeing that as really positive. Like as long as we can get a high footfall place, I think we'd only do it over Christmas because the conversion rate would be even higher because socks are Christmas. So I'm seeing it as it's given us the go ahead to try this in the future. I'm seeing so many ideas off the back of it. Good chance for us to test it relatively cheaply. We did buy a few different bits and pieces for the shop and, you know, paid for travel and getting the stock there and stuff. But overall, quite cheap experience for, you know, the location we were in and the story we get off the back of it.
Where do you think you'd like to put a pop-up again?
I mean, yeah, we wouldn't be able to afford Oxford Street on a longer time.
No.
Yeah, that'd be good. But I think it's more likely somewhere where people know there's like pop-up brands. So you're probably better off going into somewhere where people go expecting there to be like brands popping up. Because I think on Oxford Street, you're kind of going because you know there's big brands there, and then you might happen to chance upon a pop-up. Whereas I feel like there's quite a few good locations in London, or even that, maybe not outside of London. For one, it would be cheaper. And I think people are, one of the things we noticed at this pop-up is Adobe were doing free coffees and like little giveaway bags and stuff, but people would just grab them and walk away. It's London, people have places to be, they're busy, like you just kind of grab something and go. And so that they weren't coming into the store, they were just taking the coffee and going. However, I feel like outside of London, maybe you go further up north, you're going to probably be able to have more of a conversation with people. and kind of bring people in. So actually maybe we look at cities outside of London as well, because there's obviously must be lots of opportunities there as well that would be cheaper than renting out something in London.
Yeah, and it'd be about sort of the independent fairs, wouldn't it? That actually put up
Yes.
specifically
Yeah,
pop-ups rather than all the big brands, because that, you know, is what people want to do. They want to support small businesses. So it's about the
absolutely.
opportunity of finding those independent fairs, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And there's been a real surgence of them since COVID, like this kind of support small business.
Mm,
And people are wanting to do that, you're right. So I think that's probably the next way forward for us, is to try something like that. And it's interesting because we've always been online, and that's always gone very well for us, but we're, rising cost of marketing and things like that. We are now considering, okay, what are our other channels? What else can we test and try and just see if, maybe it's worth the investment of doing a pop-up. I think I'm a long way from going into full bricks and mortar on a permanent basis, but the pop-up or like flagship store is, a consideration for us.
yeah, absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about the charities that you donate 10% to.
Our very first sock was a turtle sock. And so we started working with the Turtle Foundation. They're actually based in Germany. They have a headquarters in the UK as well, but all their work is on the ground in like Indonesia and Cape Verde. There's some, they protect beaches out there. And that's a good example because we've been working with them for so long. We've been able to donate quite a bit. And like how we work is at the end of each year, we add up our donations. We go to the charities, confirm the donations, and then discuss with them, like, what does this donation actually get us on the ground? And they'll come back to confirm, well, yes, it buys you X or protects X acres of forest. And with the Turtle Foundations from last year, we were actually able to build a whole turtle hatchery on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, means these turtles can kind of safely lay their eggs, and that's, thousands of baby turtles can then like start their life on that beach, which is pretty epic when it's just a pair of turtle socks, but it all like adds up.
Mm,
So that's just one example, but yeah, we've got loads. A few of the UK ones are really nice. We've got Bumblebee Conservation Trust, so we do a lot of wildflower planting, a hedgehog charity as well. Another one that's not really a conservation charity, but we do a rescue charity as well. So our badger and fox socks support Brent Lodge Wildlife Hospital, which is down south, and they do a lot of like wildlife rescue. So they have like a hospital, and so if like a badger is hit by a car or attacked by a dog and someone brings them in, they can help, with like surgery or anything else they might need. And so we support them with that as well. And that's, they're quite popular socks. I think a lot of the UK animals are, because we're predominantly UK at the moment, people get very nostalgic about the UK animals.
mhm.
The hedgehogs particularly are very, very popular, because I've grown up with them in my garden and now you hardly see them. So
Mm.
yeah, and yeah, just always open to new charities as well. Like we're always looking to onboard new ones and bring out new animal designs each year. So yeah, it's really exciting to be able to support them in this way. It's because I love animals. That was the main premise behind it. I was like, I want to be able to support animal
Mhm.
conservation in my own way. So yeah, just really proud to be working with them.
Are there any animals that particularly are more popular than others?
Yeah, yeah, we really see it. Like, again, I think it's slightly skewed to UK customers, but yeah, hedgehogs have always been a solid favorite. Puffins we bought out last year, and they've been a real favorite, and they are a very cute design. But another one, actually not UK, that has been one of our best sellers since the very, very start is orangutans. And you kind of see it, like people just love orangutans. They're such a lovely animal. So we do start to notice that certain animals are more popular than others. Yeah, which is a shame because I also want to kind of shed light on less, what's the word?
Hmm.
Less popular endangered animals. So like these are endangered. A good example is an Australian animal called the numbat. Loads of people haven't heard of it. There's less than 900 in the wild. Like they are so incredibly endangered. No,
Mm.
most people haven't heard of them.
Hmm.
And I think that means, respectively, in buying the sock, it means they don't sell as well because people just haven't heard of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's kind of like a popularity contest, but we're still donating money to the charities, and it's customers can vote with their feet. If they want to support orangutans, they can buy orangutan socks. So it's nice that they're actually able to kind of choose the sock and the animal that they like and know that it supports that animal as well.
It's a win-win, isn't it, really? But no, I'd certainly not heard of that animal either. So
Yes,
how
yeah.
How many was it? 25, you said?
25 different
animals.
charities at the moment. I think we're over 40 different animals though, because most of the time it's one sock for one animal, but other ones we've got, for example, our jungle range of animals. So we've got things like sloths, frogs, black panthers. They all support Rainforest Trust UK because they have a lot of different projects supporting rainforest protection. So that kind of covers off a lot of different species, and we can donate to specific projects within that charity. Some charities have multiple socks supporting them. Yeah, so we're now moving into bringing out more socks that are popular in a certain animal. Example, we know puffins are very popular, so we're bringing out a specific sock for them at Christmas because we just know people love that animal, and that means that we can donate more to that charity. So yeah, we're aiming to bring out new animals, but we're also kind of doubling down on the popular ones as well.
How do you get the designs for your socks?
A mix. So when I first started, I kind of worked with a freelancer to get the first few out, and then classic during COVID, I worked out I could draw animals. Like I started drawing people's Christmas cards, I think, because everyone had the time to do that in 2020. And I was like, oh, I reckon I can do this myself. So I started designing. So there's in the middle of our range, there's quite a few different socks that I designed myself. However, I'm not a designer by trade. So we've now I hired an intern last year, and she was a very, very talented illustrator. So we've kept her on as well since last summer, and she's been doing our designs since, and she's very, very talented. And you can tell the difference. I mean, my socks sell, the ones I've done, and they're still nice designs, but you can tell the difference. It's a real level up when you've got an actual designer doing the socks. Yeah, she's very good at it.
And where are they made?
In Turkey, which is like honestly like one of the sock hubs of the world. So there's quite a few different places. Turkey's one, Portugal, I think Pakistan, and then China obviously is another big one for manufacturing. But Turkey's a huge hub for making socks. So I honestly just Googled around, and I was, looking for a manufacturer, and this particular one just had good communication from the start. They liked what we were doing with the charities and said, we can support by lowering the minimum order quantities to get you started. Because sometimes it can be, up to 1,000 pairs plus that you have to order from the start. So they lowered that a bit for us. And yeah, we've been working with them ever since. They're a family generational factory. So it's been in the same family for a few years now. We've unfortunately not been out to visit them just yet. COVID put a spanner in the works, then we've just kind of been not had the chance to go out. But the manufacturer, he himself has come to London a couple of times. So we've met him, which has been nice to have that kind of relationship. It's been good.
So what are your plans then for the future? Possibly more pop-ups and more designs. Anything else on the horizon?
I think we still need to break America. We've got quite a few retailers out there. We've got about 700 retailers across the world now, and a good proportion of those are in America. But because our warehouse is in the UK, naturally a blocker to that is shipping. Like it does take time, it is expensive. So I think until we have a warehouse out there, we're not going to be able to grow at any pace in America. So I feel like that's going to be a good next step for us. We're also something really interesting we're working on at the moment, slightly different from socks, but we are so seasonal with a sock business. 60% of our revenue comes in November and December, which is just crazy. So yeah, it's a busy Christmas, and it's obviously very skewed towards being a gifting product, but it means throughout the rest of the year, we're kind of like scrabbling around trying to get sales, but also working out how we sustain the business when it's so seasonal. So we've done very, very well on the wholesale side of our business. We've grown from 0 to 700 retailers in like less than 18 months. We've done really well on that. So we're actually now going to start selling a digital course to teach other business owners, like going from like 0 to 1,000 orders on wholesale. So that's something we're working on at the moment. It's called Wholesale Autopilot. And yeah, it's all like to do with Bear Kind and how we've done it. And the beauty of it is because we're doing it right now, we can kind of share, we've done this and this is how it worked, and we've sent this email, and you can have a template for it too. So because we're kind of doing it live, we can share that. I mean, I've been sharing stuff on YouTube for a while now about that, but we've decided let's make a course, let's try and sell it, and that will help fund the socks through the rest of the year, because yeah, it's just so quiet unless it's Christmas for us.
It sounds like you're going to be expanding hugely over the next 5 years.
I hope so. Yeah, we're kind of, it's our household income now, so we're kind of relying on it.
Well, it'd be great to see you sort of see a British company sort of hit the international levels, of course. But thank you so much for talking to me. Tell people where they can find you and, of course, buy your socks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Helen. So Bearkind is where you can find us. It's spelled B-A-R-E kind. So we're bearkind.com. We're Bearkind on all social channels, and Bearkind on YouTube as well, which is where you can find all our like kind of wholesale advice if you're a business owner looking to get into that. But yeah, anything Bearkind, and obviously I'm Lucy Jeffrey, so you can connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Yeah, would be delighted to connect with you.
Lovely. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Helen. It's been great.
Lovely. Well, I hope you found that useful and interesting, and thank you for listening. And if you have a topic you'd like me to discuss on the show, email me at helen@eastlondonradio.org.uk. You can find me on my website, thecomplainingcow.co.uk, for information on consumer issues and consumer rights and money saving stuff. And all the other episodes of the Complaining Cow Consumer Show on East London Radio. And you can find me on Twitter at Complaining Cow, and on Instagram and Facebook, The Complaining Cow. And you can get 15% off the books, How to Complain, the Essential Consumer Guide to Getting Refunds, Redress and Results, and 101 Habits of an Effective Complainer with the code ELR15. Thanks very much and see you next time. Bye.